Hey, this is Max here, and in this tutorial I'll explain you everything about the ManyChat Google Sheet integration. It's pretty cool what you can do with it. So first I'm going to explain what it is, how you can use it, and then I want to show you 3 really cool examples. So let's just dive right in. So first of all, what is the ManyChat Google Sheet integration? So the name basically already says it a bit, right? The Google Sheet integration allows you to integrate Google Sheets with ManyChat without the need of a tool like Zapier or Integromat. It's basically just built right into ManyChat, and I think that's pretty cool. So what can you actually do with it? So there are 3 actions that you can perform with this integration. So you can add new rows to a Google Sheet, you can update existing rows to a Google Sheet, and you can get a row by a specific value inside a Google Sheet. So how do you set this actually up? Now, before we're going to dive into ManyChat, I first want to explain what Google column titles are, because the ManyChat integration uses these column titles to know basically which column is what. So here's an example of a Google Sheet, and everything in the first row is the title of a column. So these are rows, right? These horizontal things, and then these vertical ones are columns. And then everything in the first row of a column is a Google column title. And ManyChat uses this to know which column is for what. So then we're going to create a simple action to show you how the integration actually works. So you create the action, then you click here plus action, you scroll down here, and then you click Google Sheet Actions. And then you select one of the 3 actions that I just talked about. So for example, we are going to insert a new row. And then what you want to do is you want to select the spreadsheet that you have in Google Drive. If you do this for the first time, then you have to authenticate Google Drive, but that's very straightforward. So it's pretty easy. So then I would select this one, for example, Messenger questions, feedbacks, and surveys. And then you can select a worksheet inside your spreadsheet. So inside my spreadsheet, I have 3 worksheets. You can see that over here. And this is just how I like to organize my files in Google Drive. So I have this one Google Sheet that I use for all my Messenger stuff. And then I create separate worksheets inside that Google Sheet for that, so that I just do not have so many Google Sheets. So then I would select that one. And then, for example, I select questions here. And then you see that all our Google column titles show up. So this is why that is important, because otherwise you have no way of telling what you save in which row. So if I want to save something into the ManyChat ID column, so that is this one, then I can just say here, okay, cool, I want to save here the user ID into that column. Now here, this column is called full name. So then we will just say here, full name, email address. Now then we'll just type your email address and select the email system field. And then all these things, so the ManyChat data, all these things will be automatically stored in our Google Sheet. So then I click save, and then we click publish, and then you may be connected to something. That's probably handy. And yeah, that is basically how the Google Sheet integration works. But I want to show you some cool examples so that you also know how the other ones work and that you actually also know what you can use this for. So the first one that I want to show you is how you can save questions that people ask. So what I mean with that is that when someone asks a question inside Messenger, that we add that question to a Google Sheet. And I really like to do that so that I just have a feeling of what is happening in the bot, what kind of questions are people asking. And if I then, for example, see any recurring topics, then maybe I know, okay, I have to fix maybe this, or it could also give me ideas to create new content. So this is how that works. So we're going to use the insert row to save our questions to this Google Sheet. So we have this Google Sheet and then this worksheet. And what we want to save is the ManyChat ID so that we always know, okay, this is this subscriber, then the full name, then the email address, then when it happened. I somehow think that's maybe useful. And then the question that they asked, and then the location of the flow that is storing the question inside this Google Sheet. I find it quite handy because then you can also here sort your rows basically based on where this question was asked. Could be quite handy if you, for example, have a course and then after lessons you want to know what kind of questions people are asking about that lesson. So this is how we do that. So we have here our default reply, and this is just one of the possibilities, right? But the default reply always triggers this flow as soon as someone types something inside Messenger that the bot doesn't know how to reply to. So as soon as they do that, and then this default reply is triggered, then we trigger an action to save the last text input, so that's the last thing that the subscriber typed, into a custom field that I created called response. Because if we store the last text input into a custom field, then we can, with a condition, check if that last text input contains something. So by doing this, we can filter what are questions and what are not questions, because we do not want to store everything inside our Google Sheet, right? So in this example, I'm checking if the subscriber basically typed anything of these. Like, did they type something that contained a question mark, the word question, my name, help, do you, can you, or how? Because if it contains one of these things, it's likely a question, and then I want to save it to my Google Sheet. So if yes, if any of these things was a match, then we continue this line, and then I mark the conversation as open so that in a live chat I can see that someone asked a question, so that I know, okay, hey, I have to answer this. And then we store the question inside the Google Sheet for later reference. So what I want to do is I created a new custom field called multi-field, and the multi-field is just like a temporary custom field that I created to store temporary info in. So I use this in multiple flows, and I only use it for things that I save for a few seconds. And then I set the multi-field to default reply, because then in the Google Sheet action, let me show you, then I will use that to store the location. So we selected our spreadsheet, our worksheet, then the ManyChat data, so the user ID, the full name, email address, and then this is maybe interesting. So when did someone type this? For that, I use the last interaction. So here you can just type last interaction. This is a system user field. So this is the last time that the subscriber was active. So if they just asked a question, then we store that date into when. Now then the response custom field, so we use it inside those conditions, right? But we also use it inside this Google Sheet action to store the question. And then the multi-field that we set to default reply, we use that to store the location. So that's basically that. So then I click publish here, and then yeah, this is just an example of what you can do in the default reply, but you could also just copy this block after a user input, after basically inside a flow where someone asked a question, like what I just said inside maybe the end of a lesson, or maybe after a video tutorial. Then you can just copy that block and you can put that in there. So I will also make sure to put a copy of this flow underneath this video so that you can just import it and change to your own needs. So that is the first example. Then I want to show you how you can save survey data. So surveys are really cool. I also have a separate tutorial about that. I will also make sure to link to it. But what we want to do is we want to ask our subscribers a few questions, and then every answer to a question we want to store inside our Google Sheet so that you can have this like huge overview of all your survey data. So for this, we're going to use insert row to basically add people who are participating in this survey. And then we're going to use update row to add all the next answers to that row that we just added with insert row. So let me show you how you can do that. So this is my survey. So again, I will also make sure to link out to this below this video so that you can just import it and change to your own needs. But this is how it works. First we ask, hey, can I ask you a few questions so that I can create better content for you? And if they say, sure, no problem, then they get a message that says, oh, awesome. Try to answer every question in one sentence. That way I can easily store it to review later, right? Because if they're going to do multiple sentences, then it's really hard to store that inside a Google Sheet. Now, what do we do then? Then we automatically continue into an action, and this action is insert row. Now, let me first show you the Google Sheet. So down here, we have survey, and I called it better content. So you can also add other ones, but then you just give it another name, right? And in here, we have the same things as the question one. So we have ManyChat ID, full name, email address, and when it happened. And then we also have answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the survey that I created has 5 questions. So if you have more, then you just add some more Google column titles to that, right? Now, then we go back over here. So we just store that. We only store the ManyChat ID, full name, email, last interaction, and not the answers yet, because we didn't answer or ask any questions yet. And then we automatically continue to the first question. And the important thing here is that your question should be inside the user input. That's this thing here. And then the reply type has to be set to text or multiple choice. But what's really important is that you save their response to a custom field called response. So this is the same custom field that I showed you inside the default reply. So just create this custom field once and then you can just use it for all these things. So we save it into that custom field because then inside our next action, we can update a row. So how this works, we select our spreadsheet, same worksheet, and then we can look up a column. So we can look up a whole column, so in this case the ManyChat ID, and then we're going to look for a value. So we're going to look for the user ID value. So that's basically the ManyChat ID. And this is really cool because the ManyChat ID is always unique for every subscriber. So because we just previously in the first action added them to the Google Sheet, we're now going to look for that row so that we can update that specific row. Now, and then we're not going to use or add again the ManyChat ID, the full name, the email address, because those are already on it and those basically never change, right? And then the when, we always update with the last interaction. So with every question, we just update them with the last interaction. So I don't know, I just think that's handy somehow. And then we store the response custom field, so which contains the answer, because that's the custom field that we set inside our user input, right, to store the question inside that custom field. So then we can use the response to store it into answer 1. So and then we click save. And then we have question 2. Now question 2, the same. We have a user input, we store the answer into the response, and then after someone replies, we automatically continue here into our action. And then this action is pretty similar to the previous one. So this is all the same. Then we store the last interaction again into when, so that it just gets updated and updated every time they answer something. And then we store response into answer 2. Now, and then here we have question 3. This one is also user input, but I've set the reply type to multiple choice so that we can have these quick replies. And then as soon as someone clicks these quick replies or types a number, then it gets stored into the response custom field. We go to our action, and then you'll see here that inside our action, we update the last interaction again, and we store the response, so the answer, into answer 3. And so then in the end, you have inside your Google Sheet this whole row for every single subscriber. So I think that is actually pretty cool. And also if someone stops after question 2, then you still have this. So it's not going to, or not advisable to have that action all the way in the end to store everything at once, because that's also possible. But if someone then stops halfway through your survey, then you still have those things inside your Google Sheet. Now, then the next example that I want to show you is totally different. And we're going to send unique coupons that we have inside our Google Sheet. And for this, we're going to use the get row by value to get a unique coupon. So this is what our Google Sheet looks like. So we have our Google column title, coupon ID, unique coupon, distributed, and when it was distributed. So the coupon ID we're going to use so that we always send the next one and the next one and the next one. I will explain a bit how that works. Now then you have all your unique coupons. So in this Google Sheet I have 100 different coupons. And then this checkbox will be automatically checked as soon as we gave one of those coupons away, and then when someone requested it, we just store that in here. I think that's maybe cool that you can see how fast your coupons are being distributed. And if you want, you can also maybe store someone's ManyChat ID or full name so that you know who requested which coupon, but I did not really see a use case for that, so I didn't do that. But if you maybe have a cool use case for it, then you can do it over here. So let me show you how that works. So we have our little flow over here. And the first thing that we check is we check does this subscriber already basically have a coupon? So I created a new custom field, and this custom field is called coupon. So if you want to do this, create a new custom field and name it coupon. And then we check if it has any value. Because if it has any value, then in this Google Sheet action, which I will show you in a bit, there we store the coupon that they get inside that custom field. So if that custom field has any value, then they already got a coupon. And then we follow this path, and then we just say, here's the coupon that you requested earlier, just to prevent that they cannot request 10 coupons or something. Now, if not, if this is the first time that they're inside this flow, then we go here and then we check if the coupon ID is greater than 100. So the coupon ID is a bot field, so it's not a custom field. Maybe it's important that I show you where you can do this. So custom fields, so these are all your custom fields, are also called user fields, right? So here you see coupon, and this is a text type custom field. And then down here, you see coupon ID. So the coupon ID is a bot field, and this is set to number. So it's very important that you also set it to number. So you can just click this button, call it coupon ID, and set the type to number. And then the value you will always set to 1. So always set it to 1. And then every time we're going to give a coupon away, we're going to increase this by 1. I will show you how that works in a bit. So if it reaches 100, then we know that we gave a coupon away 100 times. And then you saw inside this Google Sheet that I do not have any more coupons. So then I want to send a message that says, sorry, there are no coupons anymore. Now, obviously, you can also add thousands upon thousands of coupons to your Google Sheet, then this is probably not necessary. But if you maybe only have 10, 100, or 1,000 coupons, then you definitely want to build something like this in. Now, what we do then? We have our Google Sheet action. We're going to get a row by a value. So we're basically searching all the rows, and we're looking if there is a match with a certain value. So it works like this. So I selected our spreadsheet. So our spreadsheet is called available coupons. That's this one, right? And then the worksheet coupons for product X. So you would just maybe create different worksheets for different campaigns or different products, wherever you want to use it for. And then we use lookup column. So we're going to look up column, so can barely pronounce that. We're going to look up the column coupon ID. So that's this one. And then we're going to search for the value of our bot field. So our bot field that we just created has a value of 1, right? So what it does, it is going through this list and it will look, okay, which value here is 1? This value is 1. So then this row, this whole row is going back to ManyChat. And then you see here our Google column titles. You also see that they're on the other side now compared to previously, right? And then we want to store the unique coupon inside our coupon custom field. I hope you still follow me. I know it's getting a little bit more complicated. So again, let me quickly explain what it does. So we have here our Google Sheet. Then it searches for the coupon ID inside the coupon ID Google column title, this whole column basically. So 1, then it will send this coupon, and then it will store the coupon inside the coupon custom field. And then we set the multi-field to true. So here's that multi-field again. So just the custom field that they use for a bunch of different things. And I set it to true because we're going to use that to basically check this checkbox. Now, then we're going to update a row. So this is our third action here. And then we have our same spreadsheet, same worksheet. And this time we're going to look up the column unique coupon. And we look for the value of the coupon custom field. So we just gave the subscriber a coupon, or we're still going to do that, but we just got the coupon form from our Google Sheet. And then we stored it into the coupon custom field. And then in the next step, we are going to update this custom field with here true. You can see now when the checkbox is not checked, it's false. When it's checked, it is true. So we want to update this with true and then also when. And then we want to store the ManyChat data into those Google column titles. So we want to store the multi-field into distributed, because we set it here, you can still see it a little bit, to true, so that the checkbox get checked. And then the last interaction to when it happened. And then we click save, and then the subscriber gets a coupon that says, or a message that says, here is your unique coupon, and then the coupon variable. And then we wait for 28 days. And if during that time the subscriber comes again, then the coupon will have any value, because we just added that into with that Google Sheet action, right? And then we send a message that says, here's the coupon that you requested earlier. And then after 28 days, what I like to do, you do not have to do that, is that you delete the coupon custom field, or that you clear that custom field, so that if they after 28 days, so after 4 weeks, enter this flow again, that you can just request another coupon maybe. So yeah, that is basically that. So what I want to do is I want to preview this so that you can just see how it works. So right now you see that we have our coupons. This is not checked, right? There's nothing in here. Then go over to Messenger, nothing here either. And then I will just preview, or maybe first go to my profile. And then you see here that I already tested it. So I quickly here clear this. Always important when you test something. And then I'm going to hit preview. And then it will start. So it simply says, here's your unique coupon. So it doesn't look so super special, right? But if we then go over to our coupons, then over here you will see that coupon ID 4 is then the coupon here. And then you see that distributed is set to true. And then here also to when. Now I didn't do the first one because I already tested it a few times before I started this tutorial. So if we go here over to our custom fields and then to coupon ID, then you see now that it's set to 5. So if this is set to 1, and then I will just uncheck this again and again. And if I then preview it, or maybe I have to go first back to my audience, clear, and then we clear it again. Okay, let's try it again. Then we preview it. Then we get a similar message basically. And then if we go back to our available coupons, then you see now that the first coupon was given away, and then distributed, this checkbox was checked, and then you see the date that it happened. And if I preview it again now, then you see that we get a different message that says, here's the coupon that you requested earlier, and then we have that coupon again. And then if we just simulate a bit that another subscriber would come now, so we just move this to just test if it's working. So then we click preview, and then I just get another coupon. And if you go back to available coupons, you see that we get the second one. If I do it again, then you see that we get another coupon, and then go back here, now, and so on and so on. So that is basically how the ManyChat Google Sheet integration works. I hope this gave you some ideas of what is possible. I'm using this myself quite a lot because I think it's really handy to store all these questions. We can also use it for feedback and also for surveys. And then if you distribute coupons, then I think this is also pretty cool. So the next tutorial is also going to be really cool. You see it on screen right now, and it is about ManyChat conditions. And there's actually quite a lot of things that you can combine Google Sheets and conditions with. So just go ahead and watch that tutorial, and if you enjoyed this, then give the video a little thumbs up and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more tutorials like this.